Hello and welcome to Transformation and Empowerment, the podcast that helps you to live a happier, more abundant and fulfilled life through the power of gratitude.
Don't you always want to be the best you can be?
The Frankie Boyer Show.
What is this?
It's more than a lifestyle show. It's a show about living in today's world. I think something is happening. Frankie enthusiastically brings an amazing eclectic mix to the airwaves.
You got that right.
One of the reasons she's earned legions of loyal fans is very simple. When you listen to the Frankie Boyer Show, you just never know what's going to happen next. So listen for yourself. Here is Frankie Boyer.
And I am so thrilled you're with us today, right here on Biz Talk Radio. It is Frankie Boyer. Check out the new FrankieBoyer.com. Coming up a little bit later, the woman responsible for my new site, Lee Romanoff, will be here, and her story is amazing, as is my first guest. Oh, I'm so thrilled to have my first guest with you. You know, we have all been watching in horror of what has happened in this world, and the news has been so grim and so devastating, and there is an opportunity for each and every one of us when we look at the tragedies that have unfolded in this world, and there is, through it all, there is this string, this light, this epiphany, whatever happens, but it causes people to be shattered and wake up in a way, or wake up a part of themselves that's been lost. And to help us unfold that piece is a man who made millions of dollars and lost all of it, and has been now back to share with us the power of gratitude and his gratitude experiment. And I am so pleased to welcome Mike Pettigrew to the show. And Mike, welcome. It is a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure, my pleasure too.
So tell us a little bit about your background and your story.
Well, you kind of put it in a nutshell very, very well. I was very successful in business. I started my first company back in 1987. We were supplying tropical plants to offices, and over a period of years I built that business gradually for the next 14 years, and I went through all sorts of growth during that time. I was in my early 20s. I had very little self-esteem. I was always the kid at school that was never picked for teams because I was so useless at everything. And when you hear that you're useless at everything, you believe it, and then you become useless at everything. So
that's
I think
right.
during my
20s, absolutely, yes, yeah.
So then, as I say, over a period of time, gradually, I built self-esteem and self-confidence. And that really happened through business, and really looking at my own self-worth. And as my own self-worth increased, so did my finances. And eventually I sold that company to a multinational in 2001. And I thought I'd been doing voluntary work for the rest of my life. But you know what, Frankie, it's life has experiences for us that we often can't even possibly imagine. And just a very short
Yes.
few years later, I trusted the wrong people, made some really bad investments, and I lost everything. I had a wife and a newborn baby, and I had no money to feed them, and I can't even begin to describe how frightening that is. When it comes down to a threat to the survival of your loved ones, I really don't know what's more frightening. It was just horrendous.
Yes.
And
So what did you do?
Well, every morning, the fear was so great. One example, and we had several years like this. One year, we lost $250,000 in just 1 year. And there was a few years like that. And every morning I would drag myself out of bed and I'd just run to the toilet. I just wanted to vomit with the fear. It was that intense. It was physical. And in my desperation, I literally put this prayer out to the universe. Please change the situation. No, actually, I'll rephrase that. I made a vow to the universe. I said, this will change. No matter what it takes, I will change this, and I will change it now. And you know what? When you pray in desperation, and often you have emotional power behind that prayer, amazing things can happen. And just a few days later, I started reading a book, a very, very old book. And that book had a profound effect on my life. That book was about the power of gratitude. And really what I was learning, Frankie, was that gratitude acts like a magnet. And it draws into your life all sorts of... Yeah.
I love this. I love this.
But
so we need this conversation when there's been so much tragedy of late.
Oh, absolutely.
We have to really reflect on what we can be grateful for. And I know that it's not easy because when you lose so much, and I was in a very similar situation, I trusted the wrong people and lost everything that I know what you...
Oh, wow.
You know, it's a terrible place to be. But having gratitude and appreciation for what you do have...
So true.
Is so powerful. It's very powerful.
It's incredibly powerful, Frankie. And yes, I had a wonderful wife and a wonderful baby to be grateful for, but almost equally, I had the extreme fear that I wasn't going to be able to feed them, and it was that bad. Yeah. So when I started reading this book, I decided to do what I call today my crazy gratitude experiment. And I really decided for the next few days, I had nothing to lose, so I decided that I was going to bring up gratitude every 30 minutes of the day. And what I did was I looked at my previous 30 minutes, every 30 minutes of the day, and I asked myself, what was my dominant thought and my dominant emotion? And believe me, in most cases, it was quite negative. And each time I brought up gratitude. Now, you might think, how can you bring up gratitude when things are so dire? Well, all you need to do is remember an experience in the past. I have a friend, he's a very well-known author, his name is Bruce Moen, and he told me years ago, he said, Mike, if you want to ever return to any state of consciousness you've experienced in the past, all you need to do is remember what it felt like. And so for me, I would dwell on the memory of a time in the past where I felt sincere, genuine gratitude, when something wonderful happened. And even though things were horrendous at the time, by thinking about this time in the past, it would take a few minutes at first, but gratitude would bubble up. And when you do this every 30 minutes of the day, you get quite good at it. And within 24 hours, within the first day, I didn't even have to remember an event in the past. I was actually able to bring up that feeling anytime I wanted it, spontaneously. But Frankie, the amazing thing that happened was within 3 days, incredible synchronicities started to happen. Amazing coincidences that actually affect me profoundly to this day. You know, this is what I mentioned. Gratitude acts like a magnet. I often think it's like when we're suffering deeply, it's often like we're in a dark room. We can't see anything around ourselves. But just imagine there's a door, and on the other side of that door, there's a blinding white light. Now, all we need to do is open the door a crack, and the light comes flooding in, and we can start to see everything around us. And gratitude acts this way. It illuminates our lives. It actually raises our consciousness. It actually opens our wisdom. It's like almost connects us to our source. So gratitude is incredibly potent. And I invite your listeners to try this experiment for themselves, particularly if life is really, really rough right now, because it can have profound effects.
You have a gift for the listeners, and it's unlockgratitudenow.com/gift. correct?
Exactly. And it includes a full copy of my book, Unlock Gratitude Now. Also, it includes an audiobook. It's an audiobook called What Happens When We Die, and it's actually 40 years of my own research into life after death and near-death experiences, and also a 4-part video course, 30 Days to Empowerment, Success and Happiness. And the URL again is unlockgratitudenow.com/gift. And really, Frankie, the reason I'm doing this is when you have a very painful experience and you come through that and you learn all sorts of new skills, I feel it's so important to share those skills with other people.
Oh, Mike, we are out of time, but we have to have you back because I will schedule something very soon so we can continue this conversation.
That's wonderful.
Because we need gratitude and we need to be reminded of it every day. And I love your experiment every 30 minutes. Wow, that's awesome. We'll be back in just a moment. This is Frankie Boyer, Biz Talk Radio, biztalkradio.com, FrankieBoyerTalk.com. And Mike, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Frank. My pleasure.
Check out Mike's information. It is unlockgratitudenow.com/gift. We'll be right back.
Thanks so much for listening to our podcast, and I do hope that you found it helpful. If you would like to watch our free training videos, then please do visit our website at mikepettigrew.com. MikePettigrew.com is spelt like this. It's MikePettigrew.com. Again, that's MikePettigrew.com, and you can sign up for free training videos that can help you to live a happier, more abundant and fulfilled life. The subjects of our videos include such topics as the powers of the mind, how to program ourselves for success, how to win in everything we do, discovering our purpose, controlling our destiny, goals and determinations, the easy way to achieve anything we desire, happiness, mastering our mind, overcoming negative thinking, self-discipline, the importance of mentors, and many, many other subjects that will help you to live life to the full. So please do visit mikepettigrew.com right now and get your free training videos. Thanks so much for listening.